Welcome back to another riveting, exciting. I still haven't looked up another synonym for those words, but welcome back to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting, a podcast where me, Jason,
and me, Jennifer,
have a few cocktails
and talk shit about our kids.
And try and keep the kitten from attacking our recording equipment.
Yes.
Miss Jennifer, how you been?
You want to talk about follow us?
No, I don't. Yes, we should. I have this outline, and I printed it, and I'm just like skipping parts. So for all four of our listeners, if you like our podcast, please follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Both places. It's Guide to Poor Parenting, all one word.
Yep.
Miss Jennifer, now, how's your week been?
It's been good.
Well.
Kinda. Today's been good.
Yeah. I know you've been dealing with like long-term COVID since 2020.
2020, yeah.
And this past week's been pretty painful, right?
Yeah. I just went through my second round of Botox, 31 needles or shots in the head and shoulders. And they always...
What about the knees and toes?
And not knees and toes, just heads, shoulders. And it's so funny because after each one, this one will work, 3 to 5 days, you'll feel so much better. And then in like 2 weeks, it'll be 50% better. And then as soon as I get the shots, it's like it makes it way worse.
No.
And then I have to take like all the medicines and still doesn't work, and it kind of makes it a little better, but yesterday was a really bad day. But I suffered through, and we got to go to a local event that we have every year here in Huntsville. It's called Panoply.
Yep.
And we took the kids, and I don't think they had a good time.
I think Kalia did.
More so than Wesley, but he didn't complain too much, so I was happy about that.
So if we have any actual listeners outside of Huntsville, Panoply is a local arts festival where they shut down, or we have a big park downtown, and they have a ton of like arts and skilled craftsmen set up booths and sell their wares, and it's from all over. There was someone from Wyoming there.
Yep.
I saw. It's like leathercraft, photography, painting,
woodwork, metalwork.
Some guy had set up like anywhere from 4 to 7 foot tall metal sculptures, like I guess for garden stuff.
Yep.
And he had probably like 10 by 13 square foot area. Mm-hmm. Just all his crap planted in the mulch.
Yep.
And I was like, and he wasn't local, because when I saw him, I was like, oh, that was a drive. Yeah. And I bet that was not fun transporting all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it looked heavy.
Yeah. Then they feature local schools. They have singers, and then they have with the local schools they put up their artwork, like certain kids in elementary, middle, and high school. They have a little tent, or pretty big tent, I should say, with all of their artwork so that the kids can go see it on display.
It was very impressive.
It was really cute.
Some of it was just like crap, you expect from kids,
right.
But some of it was like, God damn, this is from a child.
Yeah.
Even like elementary school age kids, some of it was really impressive.
Yep.
The high school students, especially, they really blew it out of the water.
They did.
Some did.
I can so see putting that he ever decides to try and submit something, to the.
Well, I think we're speaking along those lines. We're because it's spring right now in Huntsville, and we're gearing up for summer, and we're trying to figure out what to do with summer break. And we got her into a art camp for comic book drawing and creation, so she's super excited about that. And I was a little bit worried because I had actually booked the wrong day, but then excuse me, I went I emailed them and they were able to change it out.
That's
but good. It was the Museum of Art had theirs that I wanted to enroll her in, but I had waited too long and it had sold out, and luckily I found another one. So I think it's Artistic Minds. I don't know. I might, if I can find a link for them online, I'll post it on our Instagram and Twitter. Okay. But they seemed nice, and it was affordable, and it's like a 2 or 3 day like intensive comic book drawing thing.
Yeah.
So I think she'll enjoy it.
I think so, just knowing her.
And I think I might actually she wants to do ballet this summer, or start ballet, so I'm going to have her start that. But I think actually in the fall I might just continue on with drawing lessons for her to help her develop her skills a bit. Yeah. She loves drawing.
Oh, yeah.
And she's pretty good at it for her age.
For a 9-year-old, yeah, definitely. She draws better than I do.
Well, there's another girl in her class, I think it's Bailey, who is really good. Like, Kalia's good, but this girl, I've been like Kalia will bring her stuff home and she's coloring it in for the girl. And I'm just like, this is the product of a 9-year-old?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't want to say anime, but it's like someone who's been drawing for
A good while.
And
Yeah.
I'm just really impressed with it. So
Yeah. And some people just have that talent. I just don't. I don't have
And
that artistic.
well, one thing about artistic ability though, it is something that can be learned if you have the desire and you have the ability to train it.
Yeah.
And we have the resources to help her, and she seems to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she'll ever turn it into something monetizable, but it's something she enjoys. So
Right. Let her do it. She enjoyed it, definitely. So how's your week been?
busy. Trying to remember now what we did this week. Just work's kind of been picking up. I'm a defense contractor for. Oh, I don't know if I should say which defense. I mean, it's nothing secret, but it's just like a defense contractor. But we're supporting some really old websites that they have from like back when I was in college, back in 2000.
So long ago, 100 years ago.
Oh my God. And it's the buggiest pieces of shit I've ever seen. I'm just like, how did y'all ever use this without it failing all over the place?
Right.
Because just as an example, they have this one feature where you can compare two things. And so you put check marks next to the two things you want to compare and you hit the compare button. But no one thought to put in code to say, if both check marks aren't checked, don't do the comparison. So it's like it tries to do the comparison and then it errors out. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. For the non-developers, I'm sure that's incredibly boring. But for if we have any developers listening, it's like, oh.
They understand your pain.
They understand my pain. Well, I hope they do anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Jennifer, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking out of your Christmas present.
The Costco
wine of the
Advent calendar thing.
calendar wine of the day for the month of December, which now we're not.
Meh.
It's crowned. It's I looked up the
Sepavari? No, Separave.
Saperavi.
Yeah, Separavi.
It's from Georgia. I don't think that's the state. I think that's the country. And 12.5 alcohol by volume. So not too bad. It's drinkable.
Yeah,
it doesn't really have any.
It's a little bland.
Yeah, it's not very exciting, but it's definitely not one that I'll have to chug. I can sip on it.
This would be like a house wine or something.
Yeah.
This is like the third bottle in.
Yeah.
Where you're just like.
And then it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Third bottle in. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but like most of the bottles we've had from this thing have either been crap.
Yep.
Or they've been drinkable. Nothing's really wowed me. Mm-mm. I was at Costco earlier, and I was like, Malbec or something, because I know you like Malbec a lot, and the Kirkland brand Malbec's pretty good for $6. So, well, we'll eventually get through this goddamn thing. May just save it for Christmas, although for our annual Christmas party. And if you hear anything clinking and clanking in the background, our 9-month-old kitten is running amok in the house, and we were. What was it? We were just about to start, and he crawled up onto the countertop, and the cooktop started beeping at us. So Jennifer went and got a spray bottle, and she's a prime location so we can get the little shit.
Yeah, it's just so funny how he finds just the most randomest things, and it always makes noise.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it, but I love him to death. Whoop.
If he were not so cuddly and sweet, I would have murdered him. But he is such a cuddle bug. And he's so cute about it. Even when he's being mischievous, it's fucking adorable.
It is. I love him so much.
And he lets me pick him up like a baby and put him on his back and love on him. It's so cute. Unlike
he's your baby.
He is my baby. Unlike Zane's mean old fat cat, Buddy.
Yeah.
Well,
I like Buddy, but I love Milo.
Yeah, Buddy's a sweetheart, but he's just kind of a curmudgeon. He does not like Milo at all.
Yep.
I'll have to post some pictures of the cats. I don't think I'll ever post any pictures of Khalid or the kids. But,
right. We can do the cats.
Yeah, the cats I'm not worried about.
We can do the dogs too.
I'm not worried about their social media.
My
presence.
puppies.
We're trying to get this little kid. He's like, I think we got him when he was about 6 months old, I think. And we've had him since January. So he's probably about 10 months old now.
Yep.
But we're trying to fatten him up so that he can take on Milo because he's constantly getting like.
I don't think he'll ever be that fat.
No, he won't ever. Well, we could probably fatten him up. But I don't think he'll. Buddy's just big.
Yeah.
Even without being fat, he's just a massive cat.
Yeah.
I think if he were his proper weight, he'd probably still be like 16 pounds.
Yeah.
Where Milo, I think, will maybe be 10.
Maybe. Especially with all his running amok.
Yeah. I need to give him some melatonin and knock him out. Lay here and get fat, you little shit.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Jeffrey. Now we've had our cocktail. We've introduced ourselves. What are we talking about?
We're talking about fighting.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yay! The fun things that two kids that aren't siblings act like siblings.
Yes.
And for all the parents that have siblings, I'm sure you feel our pain.
Well, if Zane were here, he would tell us about how him and his sister Shayna would like just constantly fight, and like to the point where I know my mother and father-in-law were like to tears. They were so like irritated by it because it just wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
I don't think Clea and Wesley are that bad, but
No, but they're bad enough. They really get on each other's nerves. But it's so funny is that one minute they're bickering and arguing, the next minute they're both sitting there watching a show and quiet and being nice to each other, and it just blows my mind that they can be mean and then nice. Because I was an only child until I was 18 years old, so I don't have that sibling dynamic like that.
Yeah.
I was the second mom to my brother, and then I got stepsisters when I got older, so we don't have that type of dynamic. Like, we pretty much like each other, and it's not a, when we were younger, I chased them with a knife around the house kind of shit, which I've heard from siblings that they've done that to their siblings. So it just blows my mind how...
I think a lot of it, though, is the enforced contact. Because, like, we were talking about this earlier, that you and I decided we were going to try and get separate summer activities for the kids so they're not up each other's asses all day long.
Right.
And I think that is a part of it. Because, like, with your younger brother and your step-siblings, like, you can get away from them.
Yeah.
You are not, like, you can be far enough away to love them.
Yeah.
But if you lived with them and they were up your ass, stealing your stuff, being disrespectful...
Actually lived with me.
Yeah.
As an adult. And her 3 kids.
But they're also adults, though. Like, if they were young.
I guess, the sister an adult.
Yeah.
And the kids didn't steal or any of that stuff. And then I got to be Santa for the first time with them, and it was wondermiss.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I guess we don't have all of that. But I get so... And you have such a big enough house that they can separate each other, but they don't. They tend to just like to fight.
What always
with each other's.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Well, what cracks me up though, especially with when Wesley comes over, it's like he acts like he cannot stand Clea, and then he just wants to be so far away from her, and she does that way too sometimes. But then it's like, okay, would you? Do you want? We'll ask Wesley if he wants to go down to the neighbors and play with them, and he has to go with Clea. Or he'll be like, or a minute ago when we just kicked him out of the house because Clea had cleaned her room and gotten her tablet. And I was like, Wesley, I bought a kite for you. Do you want to go fly it? And he's like, can Clea come with me? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I thought you literally last week put your hands on her to throw her on the ground.
Right.
Well, I will say I'm grateful they haven't gotten too physical. They've only gotten somewhat physical in the last... I mean, the first, like, kind of, not even major, but kind of, like, significant physical tussle they had was last week.
That is true.
And they both blamed each other.
Of course. And they both lie.
Yeah.
And they don't ever accept what they do.
Yeah. They don't see the problems they cause.
Yes.
Because when I came over to pick up Clea from after school, Clea was like, Wesley grabbed my arm and tried to throw me on the ground, or did throw me on the ground or something like that. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, babe. I was like, we'll talk to Auntie Jay and we'll figure it out. And then you talked to me and you were like, oh, Clea started it and he like finished it. And I was like, unfortunately, I've been driving up and Clea and Wesley are in the front yard and I've seen her shove him and hit him. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, I could totally see. So.
But it's so bad when we can't believe.
Yeah.
We just have to, you talk to Wesley, I talk to Clea, hey, just leave him alone. Just separate yourselves from them.
Yeah. Well, that's
try to save a friend or any of that stuff because we just don't trust you. We don't know what you're going to say. We don't know what you're going to do because we can see y'all both do bad things to each other, which is really sad. And then on another part of it's like, okay, well, they do interact a lot because we're together a lot. We come over to your house every weekend, for podcasts, for fun friendship stuff, or,
well, and Wesley's here every morning.
Right, pretty much, because you take him to school for me. So it's It is very much like there. And then we do family vacations together.
Yep.
And, I mean, we're pretty much a family
Yep.
that just doesn't live together. And I can see, I always tell Wesley, you have to remember that she's younger than you, even though she's more mature in certain things. Than he is, definite. But he's like, well, she's a crybaby, or she gets on my nerves. Well, then just don't talk to her.
Yep.
I mean, if she's getting on your nerves, then walk away. You don't have to get physical with her.
Yep. Well, and she has a bad tendency to start pushing or hitting, and she does it with us too. But I don't make a big deal of it. I'm starting to think maybe we should be like, let's not put our hands on other people,
right?
Even as a play. But then I'm so guilty of like smacking her booty or like, I'm
hugging her to the floor.
Yeah, unwanted touch.
Yeah.
Not like sexual, but just like stuff that she probably wouldn't want. So I'm like, I need to start modeling better behavior myself, I guess.
Yeah. Which is hard because you just want to play. You get in a playful mood and you're like, oh, they want to play too. And I got to, kind of stop that myself because, with Wesley being a boy and being him, it's usually like, you run into them or, break check.
Yeah.
You stop and they run into you or, kind of play fight, with the hands. And I don't want him to ever get too aggressive with it because I usually will start it by saying I'm playing with, and then kind of like duck, just kind of put my hands around him and be like, okay, duck it. I think I might have to stop that too.
Yeah, I know with Zane, he'll take tickling too far sometimes, and I have to get on to him about that. But I think I'll see Cleo and I will be kind of play fighting, and she'll like pretend to punch. And I'm like, let's not do that so much. But then I'm shoving her or like tackling her. And I'm like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
It's hard to it's hard to say, okay, don't do that, but then watch me do this.
Right.
So I was like, ugh.
Yeah. And then, that's how we learn as parents to parent our children is like, oh, wait, they're kind of mimicking our behaviors and our emotions and whatever that we have to like, oh, wait, let's not maybe do that. And let's show them a hug that doesn't turn into you on the floor for somehow.
Yeah. I will say, like, the fighting with them reminds me a bit of Matt and John, my little brothers. Their fighting has gotten vicious over the years. Like it's always been kind of like they've been incredibly cruel to each other. But then they're like, oh, he's my brother, ride or die. But I'm like, but you just told me that you told him he should have killed himself.
Oh God. And
they've both said that. They both had periods of depression where they need like some treatment.
Yeah.
And they've both been like, oh, you should have just finished off. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you two.
Yeah.
And then they will literally get into fist fights where I remember Gwen told me when they were like 8 or 9, she came home and they were practicing punching each other in the face.
Oh gosh.
On the front yard. Like, oh God. And I cannot tell you how many times I've come over there to patch holes from them fighting each other.
Gotcha.
But, oh God.
Well, that makes me feel a little bit better about our kids.
Yeah. Did you never had any siblings, like, in your close enough in age to you?
Nope.
But you used to, did you fight when you were a kid? Other kids?
In kindergarten.
You threw elbows on the court too, didn't you?
Well, that's not really fighting when you're playing basketball. That's more just street ball. I mean, that's just the way it was. Everybody threw elbows. But then when I tried to like actually play basketball as a middle schooler on a team, I got a lot of technical. That's how I grew up. And I've always played with boys, so I've always been a tomboy, and I've always been able to take care of myself.
Yeah.
So I would play tackle football with the boys, and it hurt when they tackled me. We were not having any gear on, and I'm surprised I didn't have many concussions or broken bones from that. But I was pretty fast, and I'm tall and lanky, so I got to like slither away from them, But it was I never really like fought. My mom told me that in kindergarten I didn't understand hierarchy in a way. Well, not hierarchy. So I understood if you're younger than me, I was the boss of you. Like I was the elder of the bunch. So you listen to me. And if you were older than me, I knew, okay, I gotta listen to you because you're older than me. But then if you're the same age, I had to fight you to figure out
We're gonna fight.
who's gonna be the elder and not.
Right.
So my mom said I did that in kindergarten. Of course, I have no recollection of any of this, and I don't know how severe it got. Like if it was actually like blow to blow, like if I punched them, and how many times I did it, or any of that. She just told the story that I did it at least once. And somehow I guess I learned, maybe my mom made it a big punishment where I learned not to do that no more, but that was about it. I used my humor because of being bullied about my scars on my face, that I always used humor to get myself out of any type of predicament that I would come across. So I would never fight anyone. I would pretty much I would hurt them. I would hurt their feelings, I'm sure, by making fun of them or using my humor to get back at them, like in a dig or a roast kind of way. And so I never been in a fist fight that I can remember that I wasn't 5. So that's now I can say I slapped somebody once.
Ooh.
We were drinking, underage drinking. Don't do it, anybody that's underage. And I had a shot of Jack Daniel. And my friend looked at me wrong, and all of a sudden I just hauled off and slapped the shit out of her. And so to this day, I've not drank Jack Daniel because I don't know if it was, I mean, I had been drinking other stuff, but I attribute that slap to Jack, and that's like stuck in my brain. So I don't know if it was Jack, if it was just too much alcohol, or I was just in a mood, or what the hell happened, because I'm not very violent.
Was this the friend that kind of like betrayed you?
No.
No, it wasn't.
No, this is when I was like 15.
Oh, okay.
Or 16.
I was like, maybe.
I was very young.
Oh, okay.
So it could just be hormones at the time too. But I still, to this day, I'm gonna be 42 tomorrow, and I've not drank Jack Daniels since I was a teenager.
Okay.
And I have that fear. But I really want to go to the Jack Daniels distillery in Tennessee because I like distilleries. So I'll have to try it before we go, if we ever go. So that way I can see if Jack makes me violent. And the reason why I'm so against it, and maybe not against it, but I have not tried it, is my family has a history of blackouts. When we drink. My father's was an alcoholic. My uncle's an alcoholic. And my cousin, she's had times where she's been drinking and she doesn't remember certain things.
I'm about to say we have Vegas.
And that's not just drinking. So I've not drank and not remembered any. But with that slap, I was like, ooh, that's getting too close. Like I don't ever want to become an alcoholic. I have a fear of it.
Right.
So even though we drink while we're on the podcast, I don't drink during the week. I drink a little bit on the weekends, but I never get to that point because I'm scared.
I think the drunkest I've ever seen you was after a bottomless mimosa brunch, and you came over and I was like doing something out in the yard, and you were helping me, and I was like a little tipsy, and you like laid down in the yard to cool down.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's
that
drunk.
was fun.
I was like, I think she's drunker than she thinks.
Yeah.
But back to fighting.
Yeah. Sorry, I went on a tangent. My bad.
That's all right. I was gonna say, Kyle, my brother and I, when we fought, we didn't interact a ton because he was 4 years older than me. But we would, I don't know. I was always kind of angry at him sometimes because he was obviously stressing my mom and dad out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I was taking up for them and getting mad for them. But he and I have argued over the years, and I remember one time I was like holding a knife because I was cutting something, and we were in an argument, and I was like, yeah, I probably could have just jabbed him once.
Oh shit.
Oh man, talk about making me mad.
Well, I've met your brother. I can. I can't see myself stabbing him, but I can.
Just one little tiny jab, it would have killed him. But yeah, I'm just we never got physical. I can't think, but I think the two times I remember one time I almost got into a shoving match with my ex-girlfriend. Now I want to say my ex-girlfriend she's my last girlfriend of the two that I've ever had, and she outweighed me by a good bit, and so she's probably 300 plus.
Yeah.
And she had done something to irritate me, and we just got into a shoving match. And so, like, when I say we got into a shoving match, I'm like, it is not like a delicate little thing where I was being the abuser. She could have taken my ass if she,
Yeah.
we were pretty evenly matched. So
gotcha.
it wasn't me, like, being the abuser. But, like, I can't think of the times I fought. I fought more with Kalia than I...
Yeah. And that's more verbal
Yeah.
fighting than physical fighting.
Yeah.
What's your stance on... Okay, so as I was growing up, it was always boys don't touch girls, even if girls hit boys. So what's your stance on that? Because I feel if a girl hits you... I mean, I told Wesley, go tell a teacher.
Yeah.
Because he's a little black boy, so I don't want him to be the mean one. But everybody else that I've talked to is like... Oh, well, she touched him, so he has every right to touch her back. And I don't know. Like, I don't want to be like that person that's like, well, she's a female, she can't take care of herself.
Yeah.
But then I still am old school in that kind of way where, So, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. Like...
Just because you shoved a girl. So.
Yeah. But, again, that was a more even power dynamic.
Right.
A typical... Like, even a kind of fat, out of shape guy is just going to have more muscle mass than a typical woman is.
Right.
So even if a woman starts wailing on a guy, if he stops her, I probably wouldn't think twice about it. Like,
Right.
not like deck her and put her down, but
Right.
like, hold her and stop her from hitting him. That's one thing. But it's kind of like what happened, like the strength difference is big enough that it makes me uncomfortable to say, oh yeah, just knock her out. I'm like, but
She didn't knock you.
yeah. I'm like, you and I are pretty close in height. You're close to 6. I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't fight you.
Yeah, but like, like I'm out of shape, but my upper body strength is, I would dare to say, is a lot stronger than yours.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have no upper body strength.
And if you slap the shit out of me as hard as you could, it would hurt.
Yeah.
But I think if I decked you with everything I had, might put you in the hospital.
You'd break something. I'm
yeah.
sure.
So like that's where I get a little, and I'm out of shape.
But what do you think about kids?
When they're kids, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have too much of a problem with, I don't know. It's a case by case.
It's a hard one because, you have a lot of kids in school that tend to fight opposite sexes.
Yeah.
And so it's always, you never hit a girl.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And you have, but if the girl hits you, my stance on it is just don't hit nobody back.
Yeah.
Because don't hit nobody back. No fighting. Because you're going to be the one that gets in trouble. Because usually the first one that hits doesn't get caught. It's the second one that hits.
Yeah.
And I've tried to beat that into his little bitty ADHD brain, and it does not stick.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and then with Wesley and Kalia, because they're more like siblings than anything else, because we're all a family, I feel like. Y'all are my family. That if they had that altercation this past weekend, well, he says she started it, she says he started it, and then she didn't do anything wrong. Mm-hmm. He actually admitted to doing what he did. But it was started off with words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, baby, words are words. Just walk away. Well, she grabbed onto my jacket. Well, then get out of it. Don't hurt her in the process of getting away.
It's
hard.
Funny thing about that story was when you told me that when he was talking about couldn't get away from her, because you were like, yeah, or he said that, yeah, she's kind of strong.
Yeah.
Because she outweighs him by about a good 30 pounds.
30 pounds,
Because she's just a solid little girl.
Yes.
And he's still just a little string bean.
Yes.
But But even still, like in 6 years, it's like,
it'd be different then.
yeah, his musculature will be a lot more developed, and his upper body strength could really hurt her. So I'm just like, I don't know. It's hard to say. The power dynamics are just not the same.
Yes.
If the power dynamics were the same, like if she was a bodybuilder and he was still the string bean,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
But kind of like with me and my ex-girlfriend, like
Y'all were similar.
yeah, and there's no
And she
punches.
outweighed you.
Yeah, it was just a lot of shoving. So it was, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a case by case, but
It is very much so.
but I do think as a man though, or as someone with a lot of testosterone and a bigger muscle, you have to be cognizant of the other person's the power dynamic between y'all.
Right.
Because like if a little person or a disabled person hit me, I don't think I'd deck them or do anything to them.
I don't see you decking anyone, to be honest.
I just mean like I don't if someone of a smaller stature than me like came up on me, I would be cognizant of the power dynamic there and not like unleash everything I had.
Yeah.
Not that I would ever got into a fight anyway, and it would, frankly, if someone my size came up and started picking on me, I'd be like, oh shit, we're in trouble. So, if you're hearing it, that's our dishwasher going off.
I've never heard that before.
Long as shit.
It is. It's like the washer and dryer. It has a little music to it.
That's it. The washer and dryer is even longer. It's like a little
true.
fucking sonata.
Well, if anyone's listening, to our 4 listeners, if you want to kind of weigh in on this topic of boy versus girl, let us know what you think, because I'm just curious, because old school, it was always boys never hit a girl, and then it's just everyone that because I have a boy, I'm like well, I want him to run away and go tell somebody. That's what I want. That's not what I get, but that's what I want. And well, she touched him first, he has every right. I don't think so, and I just, kind of want to know what everyone else thinks.
I don't know. Like, right now, with their physique the way they are, like, even though he's a
little taller.
He's a little taller, but, like, he's a little string bean, and he hasn't really started puberty.
Yep.
She's kind of good into puberty now.
Yep.
So, if, like, they started going at it, I don't know. I wouldn't be happy with either one, but if she's went up and slapped the shit out of Wesley, I'd be like, I don't think if he slapped her back, I'd be like, whatever. I'm not sure I'd complain too much.
Yeah.
But knowing Clea, she would also like
as soon as she got hit.
Oh yeah, she would. Everything would have stopped because she would have just been in tears.
Yeah.
Because she could dish it out.
Oh yeah,
that little girl cannot take it.
And Wesley's the same way.
Oh, definitely. Milo's right next to me. Okay. The buddy just came into where we're recording and is prowling around looking for Milo, and Milo's curled up on my hip.
I was about to spray him.
Bad buddy.
I want Buddy not to hit my baby.
Talking about fighting, Jesus Christ! It sounds like Buddy is gutting Milo.
Like World War III up in here. Yeah, we definitely have to put pictures so people can see the size difference between. Buddy's like a tiger, and Milo's like a meerkat. Like, I mean, like it's itty bitty and then big. I love them though.
It's so funny to watch when Milo's running across the living room to get away from Buddy, and Buddy's like thump, 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 and his guts wobbling to and fro. It's like, oh Lord, he's coming.
Yep.
So you never gotten? I guess you never got into fights. So
nope. And you've only really thought about
it's a shoving match,
fighting your brother. So you've not really had the fight. And I used humor to get out of fights. I mean, some people probably over the years wanted to kick my ass, but I just kind of wriggled my way out because I don't want to get hurt. Don't punch me. I already have scars on my face. I don't need anything else done to my face. And I feel like that's what girls go to is hair and face.
Well,
and, that I don't want that. I'm delicate flower.
You are a delicate flower.
Not really.
Since I got out of high school, I don't think I've ever been into anything physical.
Yeah.
But I'm also I just don't have a threatening personality.
You do not.
I am a prissy little gay man.
I love you.
I'm a prissy giant gay man. Yeah. So ain't nobody picking on me.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to clutch my pearls and I'm calling the police.
Yep.
I know yours. Did you ever get in a shouting match? with like not physical, but
Yes, with Kalia all the time.
And with Wesley all the time.
Yeah, but not as I can't think.
not just kids.
I think my brother and I did.
Your last roommate.
That really wasn't a shouting match.
Oh, the way you explained it.
No, that was more of a just get the fuck out of my house. And
yeah, I mean, he didn't yell back, but you got yelled at him.
Well, I yell at everybody, Zane, so that doesn't really mean anything. I'm just a loud motherfucker. I mean,
For our 4 listeners, Jennifer is moderating her tone.
I am very loud. No, I don't. But I have a horrible memory because of COVID, so I might have gotten to a shouting, but I don't really think it was. It was more of a just get the fuck out. You didn't abide by my law, my rules, so get out. I would say, as an adult, the last shouting match I got into.
Well, you and Tequila or
well,
that's friendly. That's friendly.
That's just because we're out loud motherfuckers. That's not like hatefulness. We're just loud. I mean, it scares the white people around us. Usually when we get, especially if we got some drinks in us and we talk to each other because we talk very loud at each other. I don't know why that is, but we do, and we always apologize to the people around us. Like, this is just how we act. But yeah, I can't even remember the last shouting match besides Wesley.
Yeah.
But I yell at him all the fucking time, so that doesn't even count. It's just I can be the quietest person. I can't hear you. Can you hear me now? And then I just get loud because that's the only way that he responds is if I raise my voice.
When he's pissing me off, I'll pull him into a real close and just get right in his ear, and, whisper as I get my voice real deep.
Oh yeah.
And I get right in his ear and listen here, you looker. I do the same with Kalia when she acts up too. I think they get more scared of me when I get right in their ear and get deep.
Oh yeah, because you're a big guy.
Yeah.
I know you're not going to do anything, but you're a big guy. So that, especially because you can go deep.
Yeah. Well,
I can go high.
Yeah.
I can't go deep.
Well, I do remember when we first got Kalia, and she would, we've talked about this, pouting. I put her in timeout, and she would just wail for attention. And her sister does that too, Ayana. And I had her in timeout. She was throwing a fit. And I'd found if I just startled her a bit, it would get her to stop.
Yeah.
So I went in there, I slapped the wall with, open palm slap just to shut her up. But she wouldn't stop. So I pounded it one time and cracked the sheetrock.
Oh shit.
Whoops.
Oopsie.
Oopsie poopsie.
Things we do to make our children stop being bad.
Yep.
Or stop their
screaming.
actions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wish we had Ayana. We had my Kalia's sisters the other day. Last weekend they were here, and I wish we'd had them before we did that pouting episode because goddamn, Ayana, she's a toddler. She's 2. No,
she'll be 2.
She'll be 2, but she is. Woo, when you tell her no and you want her to do something she don't want to do, goddamn.
And not even having to tell her. Wesley tried to take her outside to show her the remote control car, and she lost it having to put socks and shoes on. Mm-hmm. It's whenever she doesn't want to do something.
Oh, yeah.
It's, okay, you're not going to get your way in this house. And when I was watching her, it's like, no, we don't do this. Let's go time out because that's too much for me I can't. I'm too old to deal with a 2-year-old because it's like I don't know what your mama does, but this is what Auntie J does. So you're going to learn really quick.
Oh, yeah. But the first night we had her, I got her into the bath and she was having a good time. And then it was time to get up and get out of bed or get ready for bed. Giant hissy fit. Yeah. And we got her dressed. She was crying the whole time. And then Zane and I are in the great room area where we record the podcast. Mm-hmm. And she would come up to me. I was sitting on the couch with my legs crossed, and she would cover her eyes and then put her face on my lap and go, so funny. And then she would point at the kitchen and like point at her mouth. And I'm like, mm-mm. And she would do the whole covering the eyes thing and screaming.
Yep.
And then if she wasn't careful, anytime she like did an open mouth scream, I'd just stick my finger in her mouth. And she would like cover her mouth and go,
I remember I put her in timeout, and we were in the great room, and it's right by the room I put her in timeout in. And I was just waiting for her to stop 1 second. I had the doorknob turned, and I was just waiting for that brief second that she stopped crying. And then as soon as she did, I swung open the door, and I was like, "Yay, you stopped crying. Let's go out of timeout." And she's just like, was shocked by it and stopped completely and was like, "Okay." And mama.
I put before last weekend. I watched her. I don't remember what we were watching her for, but we watched her, and she threw a little hissy fit. So I put her on the couch in timeout, and she just cried.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I was just a minute," but she wouldn't stop crying. I'm like, "All right, I'm just gonna leave you there until you stop crying." She finally stopped, and then it was like, "Okay, do you want to come on timeout?" So she was like, "God damn, girl."
Yeah.
I was like, "You are too young for a tantrum that long," and she'll like. It scares me because she'll flop herself.
Fling herself on the floor.
And she did it like on the couch and whacked the shit out of the back of her head on the couch. I'm like,
Yep.
goddamn. And she's done that on the tile before too, where she just flings herself. And like, I was like, God bless, baby.
Yeah.
Or like give yourself a concussion doing
Yeah,
that.
that's scary. Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to do the snow angel story at story time another time. Though.
Oh, yeah. Get ready for this story, people.
Oh, yeah.
You got to tune in probably 2 episodes from now.
Probably. All right. Well, I'll say this is a good transition spot.
Yeah.
So for all 4 of our listeners, if you have any funny stories about your kids,
Or if you need some bad parenting advice.
email us at guidetopoorparenting@gmail.com.
Yep.
Miss Jennifer, what are we having for snack time?
We are eating Ferrero Rocheros.
Ferrero Rocher.
I know I don't say that right.
Fire roaches.
Ferrero Rocher. I
was
love
Rocher.
these.
What was Rocher?
Is it Rocher? Well, whatever it is. Well, there's an R at the end, so I just wanted to be
thought it
right.
was-
But these are the best things ever. I love them so much. And we have a local Mexican ice cream parlor, I guess, that makes Ferrero Rocher, whatever, ice cream. And it's got the chunks, and it is just chef's kiss. I love it so much.
Come on, La Michoacana.
Yes,
At
love it.
Clinton and Governors?
Yep.
Yep.
Near Bandito Burrito.
Bandito Burrito.
Yep.
Well, now that we've had our snack, let's do story time.
Yeah, what's our story today, Jason?
So this happened a couple of years ago. I did, and what? Is there any more wine? Oh, no, I'm okay. Jennifer just stood up and was like motioning me for wine. I was like, I don't think we have any more wine in the bottle, but she was getting some from our trusty store. Anyway, so a couple of years ago, I had the inspiration that I want to do drag, and I still have it, but I've just been dealing with like hip injuries and been too busy with other stuff. And what I really wanted to do was do comedy and drag. Regardless, that doesn't matter. Anyway, so I bought some makeup supplies and I was practicing around with it just to see if I, get the everything.
Contour.
Yeah, the contours and the eyebrows glued down and everything looking good. It didn't look too bad, but I kind of got out of practice on whenever I decide to try it up again, I'm going to do it. But I had them in, we have a back guest room where usually that's where our guests stay, where we have a queen size bed in that room. And I had a desk in there and I had like all my makeup supplies in there. And I told Kalia to stay out of them because she had like shown some interest in them. Mm-hmm. And so I had caught her a couple times. She had, we took her to gymnastics summer camp for gymnastics. And she had lipstick on. Uh-oh. Or the
eyeshadow?
Instructor was like, is that lipstick? Or she's like, what is that on your lips? And I was like, have you been into the lipstick again? She's like, uh-huh. So I punished her for that. And then a few weeks after that, I was like help her clean up her room, and I pushed her hang-up clothes aside in her closet, and there was a bright red handprint. She had taken my like cherry whore red lipstick, put it on her palm, and then slapped the wall. And I was like, oh my fucking God. And I was so goddamn mad at her. Because she's always like getting in my shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the makeup got put away. And that's part of the reason I haven't gotten back into it. Because I'm like, if I have it, I need to be able to lock it away. Because otherwise a little shithead will get into it.
It's so sad. We have to lock our shit away. Just so that way our kids can get into it.
Did you ever go through your parents' stuff growing up?
I did still change. I
Yep.
know that. My father had this huge jar of change. And we lived real close to the base where they have a Burger King that is tax-free. Tax-free.
Yeah.
So whatever, if it's $5.99, it's $5.99, right? So I would steal their change to go get a burger and fries and a drink or whatever. So I would take that, but I don't remember like actually using. I'm a tomboy, so I wouldn't use my mom's makeup or wear her clothes or any of that shit because I don't wear what my mom wore back then, anyways. But yeah. I take cigarettes. My father was an alcoholic, so he never knew how much he smoked. So I would steal a pack.
I remember
horrible cigarettes, but with
the Pall Malls.
When you don't make no, they were basic.
Ugh.
So like if you don't have a job and you want to smoke, what you do?
I remember my gross cigarette was Dural's.
Oh,
Those
I've smoked those before too.
Those are nasty cigarettes. Yeah, I used to go through my parents' stuff, so I don't get too mad. But like every now and then, like Clea still has a problem of like going through our stuff. We when we do the podcast, we typically throw them in our bedroom, like both kids, and like they'll play video games or watch TV on our TV.
Right.
And we had done a couple podcasts a while back, and I was putting stuff away in Clea's room, and I noticed my blood pressure machine cuff was in her room, and I was like, "Where's the machine?" She's like, "I don't know. I didn't take it." I'm like, "The fuck you didn't?" I was like, "This was in my bedroom."
Right.
So I'm like, I still don't know where the machine's at. I just have
wow.
the machine is lost in the black pit of her bedroom. So I will eventually. I keep saying, I was like, we need to go through every one of her toy bins and like go through shit.
Right.
But I keep either like getting distracted or tired or whatever.
Yeah.
It's rough being a parent in your 40s.
Right, and you just had hip surgery, so you have excuses. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
And you'll find your machine eventually.
Yeah.
Because we all find all of our shit eventually.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah. No, anyways, yeah.
All right. Well, that's been another episode. So thanks to all 4 of our listeners. Thanks for listening to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting.
If you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on.
And any feedback at all would be helpful. We're still new at this. We're trying to figure this all out. We realize if the sound quality shit, let us know. I'll see if I can improve, get a different mixing machine, whatever.
Yeah, and if you don't want to hear us talking about ourselves, let us know.
Yeah.
If we're boring, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And if you don't like our podcast, I didn't write a new one. Shoot.
Oh, you got right.
Okay. Normally, as our podcast listeners know, I usually do an outro. Let's see. And if you don't like our podcast, just like when we tell our kids that they can't play in your makeup.
Tough shit.
That's right.
Stop stealing my shit.
Stop going through my crap. Bye everyone.